It started.
We are live.
All right, so
This is our first podcast, so bear with us. It's gonna be rough, but we're gonna get it.
and we're
Welcome to the podcast. That's my radio voice.
and remember we have the video or the music intro that we have somebody working on, Pat.
Shout out, Pat.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. First, we're gonna start off where we grew up, and so that's out in Dogtown, outskirts of Farmersville. And the reason they called it Dogtown, I don't know if you remember, but there was more dogs than people there at one point, and
I remember. Sorry, but I remember we would walk around the whole blocks, and you would have a pack of dogs just roaming. They wouldn't attack you or nothing. They would bark, but they wouldn't attack you.
Well, depending what area you're at.
Yeah. So Hypericum was their friendlies. So there was about 8 to 10 dogs just roaming around. They'd go to the fields, the surrounded areas, walnut fields, all that. And if you went to the first street, it was I'd say like forbidden areas.
That was no man's land.
Yeah, so that was
But we really had no reason to be down there. No.
yeah, that was a lot of drug activity, stuff like that. And
But anyway, so back to where we're going with it. Yeah. So growing up, I think how we first got introduced to our group of friends down there, Daniel.
Day one.
Yeah, we all went to a preschool, an El Camp out in the outskirts of Farmersville.
Yeah.
So that's how we got introduced to Daniel.
Yeah.
So Daniel was the first point of contact. And
I remember first day, yeah, we met Daniel and how old, what's it, like fucking 4?
we were like 4 or 5, dude.
Yeah, and then we got dropped off. We were busting, me and him were busting. I believe Daniel, he'll deny it, but Daniel was busting.
It was a domino effect.
Yeah, so, and then after that, we kind of linked up, and we found out we lived next to each other, so then, yeah.
Yeah, so Daniel was the first one.
A.K.A. Peanut.
Yeah. So then Tony was his older brother, and then Tony was buddies with Arthur. Fart. And Martin got in the mix. Because they were real good friends with Arthur, Martin and Arthur.
Yeah.
So they connected. So that's how we all gravitated towards each other. So that was the main friends was me and my brother, Daniel, Tony, Arthur, and Martin. So that was kind of the crew there.
That was the original Dogtown crew.
Mm-hmm. The OGs.
But we recruited later on. Yeah. We got more recruits.
Yeah. So here's the other thing.
Eddie.
So we got called Moose and Shrimp.
Yes.
So if someone from Dogtown does, when they watch this, help us out, because I don't remember where it originated from. I just remember the backstory. So me and my brother were twins. I'm Moose, he's Shrimp. Mm-hmm. And I was always a lot bigger than him. And
he's older too. Yeah. So I think that's what created it as well.
Yeah. But I was called Moose and he was called Shrimp, and the backstory was because I was bigger, you were smaller. So, but if someone has a better story than that, or more of a backstory than that, let us know.
And also in Dogtown, there's just a bunch of random houses. So, and there was only one school outside Creek. So through the years, people would move in, and we'd have random kids go into the school. So we'd hang out with them for a year or two, and then they move out. So I think maybe somebody there might have created too. So it might be lost forever, maybe.
I don't know. Someone might know.
We'll find out. Yeah.
But anyways, to go back on it, so that's where we grew up, and as far back as I can remember, we were 4 or 5, and we were there for a long time. And
yeah.
So and Dogtown, which I mean, it's the street's actually Hypericum, but so that's where everything really went down. All our friends and. After school games or on the weekends, always doing something there. So that's a little bit of where we grew up from.
And that's where a lot of the stories later on, because this first episode is going to be more of an intro. Mm-hmm. We might touch on a little bit of stories here and there, but this is going to be more of an intro.
Yeah. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of who we are, where we came from, and then after that, then we could jump into and get into all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So there was that, and so, and what about what about Dogtown though?
As far as what?
No, I mean,
I think we touched on it pretty
that's-
good.
yeah.
Gave everyone a picture. It's out in the
Okay.
country. There's so it's 2 streets, and then there's a few houses in the middle, and that's where we lived.
okay,
And around the whole area was orchards. So we had cherry trees, walnuts, peaches, everything. So it's pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. It was
Yeah.
about 10 minutes from the nearest town.
Farmersville.
Yeah, Farmersville.
Okay, I think that's good, but go talk about you a little bit, and then I'll talk about myself. Just kind of where you're at. Give a little backstory, like what you did and where we're at now.
Okay, so we lived in Dogtown till we were about.
No. I'm talking about
I-
more as of recently.
Okay, so all the stories we have, we've been talking about them, and when I went to the military in 2017, and so me and my brother we're used to seeing each other every day, so pretty much we'd be talking on the phone every day, and we would catch ourselves reminiscing, talking about all the crazy stories we have, and we originally said we should do a book, but realistically, there's a lot of work in doing a book.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit down and
Yeah,
do it.
we did some research on it, and it was a lengthy process. So then, with this whole COVID, we started listening to a lot of podcasts, and then going through the podcast, whichever ones we liked, and then we kind of just both sparked the idea of we should do a podcast. So after that happened,
Hold on, let me stop real quick.
I know I'm going on a rant.
No, but remember, because when all the COVID happened, the way everybody was communicating was via Zoom. Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
then that's how we started talking. I was like, hey, well, let's have a Zoom meeting, and then I think.
Well, I think that was our test run.
Yeah. So let me stop real quick. So
Eddie.
no, I was working in Fresno at the time, so I have an hour commute. I live in Porterville. So I think how it sparked, like my brother said, we always talked about it. We're going to do a podcast later on and you know, this and that. And then so usually on my way home, I'd give him a call, and then we'd just start bullshitting. We'd start talking about stuff, and then an hour later, we're still on the phone as I'm pulling home. And I told him, you know what? And it'd be cool to, you know, let's try doing a podcast or something, and something like that. And remember, yeah, that's when we started experimenting with the Zoom, and we started doing all that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was in the military 2017, then I got out towards the end of December 2020, and then now we just got a house, and now I'm just kind of transitioning to the civilian life, and then taking it day by day. But and then with our workouts, we're gonna incorporate videos as well. So the whole point of the podcast, I know I'm supposed to talk about myself, but the whole point of the podcast is we want to be diverse. We want to be able to talk about when we used to party and do crazy shit, but then we also want to show everyone where we're at today, and how no matter where you started or where you started doesn't necessarily mean you have to end up there. You could always make your own future. You always could change what you want to do. It's never too late. If you're 10 years old all the way to your 30 years old, 80 or 50 years old, not 80, I guess. But it's never too late to make a change in your life. So that's kind of what we don't want to be preachy, but we want to motivate, we want to help
Inspire
people out.
people.
Yeah, inspire. There you go. I want to inspire people.
Yeah, because even I'll take it now. But so right now I'm a police officer. I've been in law enforcement only about 4 years now. So I'm still pretty green. Still learning. I'm still learning something every day. And I mean, I talked to people like when I reconnected with Matt Carter, remember?
Yeah.
And I told him he was another one of our buddies
We'll have
from
a few
outside.
stories with him.
Yeah, but he asked me how I was doing. I told him a cop, and like he was fucking mind blown. He's like, no way. And I mean, we get that. I get that a lot because, you know, like everybody has their past. Everyone has stuff they've done, but I think there comes a certain point in time where if you could have fun, but if it's repetitive, doing the same thing day in day out, and you're ending up in the same place every day, it's like, fuck. Well, I gotta do something different, and that's what I decided to do. And like my brother said, it doesn't matter what you did or in the past. It's as long as you move forward from it. And I think that kind of piggybacks onto our weight loss journey too, because
Or before you start that though, and with that being said about the partying and all that, we don't look down or frown upon people if they want to, if you're drinking or if you're partying, having a good time, because it's just a choice that me and my brother made not to drink anymore, because with our DNA or genetics, it doesn't go together. So we can't drink.
Yeah, and if you can go out and how do you say it, socially drink, have one or two,
Drink responsibly.
yeah, hats off to you. But just
We don't have that switch.
yeah, we have an addictive personality, so
Yeah.
where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so another thing too, when I was saying about how we tell people where we're at now and how sometimes they can't believe. Another thing is when they see us,
Yeah.
is because in our early adult years, my heaviest was 297. Where were you at?
Well, the last time when I was that heavy, I got on a scale, I was 289, and then after that, I never got on the scale again.
Yeah, so we were pretty heavy at the time, and I think I started in 2012, about August of 2012, when I decided to stop drinking and just try and do a lifestyle change. And I didn't do it correctly. I'm not an expert. I mean, I just know what works for me and what doesn't work for me. But at the time, I didn't have any education in weight loss or working out, so I just decided if I don't eat as much and I run and work out, then I should be good, which was a horrible decision. But anyways, I did lose the weight. I got after a time span of a year, I got down to my lowest was 179, so about 180, and I didn't feel comfortable there. I felt too skinny. So right now I fluctuate from about 200, 205, around there, and I feel comfortable here. But it was a lot of running. My main workout, which I love, is running. I mean, I lift weights and all that, but it just doesn't bring me joy like it does when I run. But
Because when, like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's similar to you. So when I go running, a lot of people ask me what I do when I'm running or what do I think about or stuff like that. But for me, it's kind of a stress reliever. So when I go running, I just zone out and then put music on, zone out, and then after a while, I'm gone for 5 miles. And oh shoot! So just keep going.
And when did you start decide you're gonna change? You're gonna with your weight loss?
When I moved in with my sister and brother-in-law, I think it was about 2012. On the reservation, they were having a weight loss competition, and I decided to join. And that's when my first one was, because I lost. I got down to from 290, about around there. I got down to 220. So I won that contest, and then, of course, life happened, and I gained weight again. And then I think I started another one in.
You're at the casino.
Yeah, I already started. It was like what, 2015, and then, 2014 or no, 14, 15, around there. And I lost weight again, and then the lowest I got down to was about 185, and I think that's where I want to be, and I'll get there eventually. But I'm short about 15 pounds, 20 pounds.
And I think too with like. I don't know if it's similar with siblings, but it's different with twins. Like I remember seeing you when you had lost the weight, and I was like, "Fuck! Well, I need to I need to lose some weight. And like when you're doing something, it's like I feel like I need to do it or I want to do
Yeah.
it. I don't know if how it is with like siblings, brothers, sisters.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously we're brothers, but when
that's
it's twins, it's different.
That's the funny thing because I'm one of those people that hate trends. I don't follow trends. So if there's a good TV show on, everyone's talking about it. I wait till a year later till it's dead, and then I watch it on my own. But then, like he said, if he does something, then I want to go out there and do it. That's the funny thing about it.
Yeah. So what we're talking about, like my brother already brought up, we're gonna have stories as we're growing up, when we were older, and where we're at now. So the podcast is gonna. It will touch different people on different levels. It's just not going to be all about one thing and just not about working out, just not about law enforcement. Obviously, stuff will be referenced, things will get brought up, but we'll be all over the place with stories. It's going to be funny sometimes, sometimes it might be a little bit more serious depending on what we're talking about, but
and then even later on we're talking about the idea of having guests on here. So this is our first one, so we're gonna play with it and see how it comes out, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and then too, another thing would be what I want to do is get all of our friends out there. Start off with the first original Dogtown crew, and then we'll talk with them, and because I mean when you had your what was it? Oh, the housewarming party, and everyone's back here. What we're just here talking about shit that happened, and before you know it, was like 2 hours passed. And
I think we all picked a story that we weren't proud of, and then it went from there. One person told a story, as 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, then the next person just kept going and going.
Okay, I know we didn't talk about this, but what I want to do is just because I've been wanting. A couple people asked me about it, and I want, and it's funny as hell, and I want to say it on this one because it's just I've been thinking about it for a long time, and yeah,
brace yourself.
so okay, and if you want to start it, but it doesn't matter. But the story with the stripper at Jimmy's house.
Oh, we're doing this one?
Yeah, because I think it's funny and
oh yeah, because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yes. Okay.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah. So
if you catch my drift.
Yeah. So during this time, we did kind of, for the majority of the time, we did live in Dogtown, but we stayed.
We had short stints where we stayed with my sister for a little while, and then I think we even stayed in Lindsay
and Exeter. But at this time, we were living in Exeter at the time.
I thought we were living in Nito.
No, we remember we had that the townhouse.
Oh, okay.
By Coach Tristo, whatever the hell his name was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
son of a bitch lived fucking a block from us, and he bitched about giving us a ride home from football practice. So that's one thing I remember about him. But yeah,
I think that's the one Charles got into a fight with. He said, or no, Charles was fighting somebody when they were playing football in Exeter during a game, and then he turned around and was like, David, what are you doing? He said, fucking him up. I know Charles remembers that one. I remember that story he told me because we had told Charles that was our coach, and he's all, I played football with him.
Yeah, I think that's how he got the gig too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to the story. We a lot of the time, I think we were freshmen.
At that time, we were
freshmen or sophomore, because we were playing football. We were freshmen. Sophomores. Sophomore year. And
so, how old were we?
14, 15 maybe.
I think it's 15, yeah,
something like that. So, anyways, a lot of the time on the weekends, we'd go with my older cousin Charles, and we'd go out and just have a good time. And so at this time, it was his buddy. Was it Jimmy's birthday or somebody's birthday?
I think it was Jimmy's, yeah.
Okay, so it was Jimmy's birthday, and it was in we're at Dogtown at Jimmy's house, right next door to Marlins. I think his brother still lives there, Bethel. So, anyways, they decided to get some adult entertainment for the night, and So we got a stripper there. Or they got a stripper. We're just present. So
we started drinking, and then I think that's the first time I actually because before this time I was like 14. We were smoking pot, but I was doing the.
I didn't inhale.
Yeah, I was doing the Bill Clinton, so I didn't inhale it. I didn't know how. I was young, so I didn't know, and then so I didn't really get high, and then at this event. I was inhaling and I was on Mars by
You're
that.
fucking toasty.
And we were drinking alcohol.
Yeah. I was drinking. I didn't try weed till I was older. I think I was like 17, 18 when I tried my first time. But
yeah, so going in, we were all antsy, we were excited, but then I think I was toasted, to say the least.
You were there, but you weren't there.
Yeah.
So anyways. And this was our second time.
But hold on, before, so this was in the early 2000s. So this is when the strippers, you could, I don't know if people are familiar, but you could have ordered them and they come to the house and usually just set up a little circle and then she goes around and gives you dances and you just tip her. She'll go like for an hour, 2 hours.
And you could pay.
Because I know a lot of people don't know the situation. They
yeah, this is okay.
But now people just go to strip clubs.
And you could pay for extra services or whatever she might do.
Oh boy.
She had a lollipop and she made it disappear with part of her body, and I'll let you guys figure out what part. So anyways, so we're there. She's doing her thing, and I think she first saw us. So how old are these guys? And we did kind of look older, but not like older. Maybe like we could have probably passed for like 17, maybe 18.
Yeah,
and,
a young 18.
Yeah, and my cousin's like, yeah, they're 18, so they're good to go.
And she's already there. Sure, she already invested her time driving there, so it's not like she's gonna leave.
And it's crazy to think about it now because I'll get back to it, but if you fast forward to a different time when we were doing it, this chick, she showed up. And this was at one of Pat's friends' parties, and she showed up with this big old fucking burly bouncer dude. And I mean, which is cool.
This was probably later on because stuff obviously happened, or they were forced to do stuff.
Because this time it was about 2010, so about 12 years later.
Let's get back to this.
So 12 years later. So
Eddie.
So, but yeah, to think about it now, it's like she just showed up solo. So, anyways, she's dancing and whatnot, and
she made a comment. Do you remember she made the comment about me?
About if he's alright?
She was giving me a lap dance, and I was pretty much just.
It was like giving a fucking mannequin a dance.
Yeah, I was just sitting there with my arms flared to the side, and I was pretty much like a dead body laying there or sitting there up. And then she looked and she asked somebody, she said, "Is he okay?" And so, yeah.
Sure.
Looking back, I probably wasn't.
Well, you were breathing, so
yeah.
There was different levels of okay. But anyways, oh no. So now that I think about it, when she asked if we're 18, because she said she made a comment about, you guys like look like you're the same age as my kids or something in high school. She said something to that effect.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I forgot about that. And Jasmine Charles, they're 18. So anyways, so she does her thing, and it was a good night. Everything finished. So Monday rolls around, and we live maybe a few blocks, about 5 or 6 blocks from the high school. Because remember, we took the tracks.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So we're coming up to near Texaco, just south of Texaco, and we're coming into the crosswalk, and she had drove a van. It was a white van, and we see a van coming, and I kind of thought in the back of my head, like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, what if it was her?
Yeah.
So
we're coming to the intersection. So she, obviously, if you see someone coming, they let you cross.
Yeah. And to add on to it, it was like if those are familiar with Pulp Fiction, it was like when Marcellus Wallace.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. And I look, and my brother looks, and she sees us and we see her, and she just puts her hand, she does the face palm and like shakes her head, and she knew, and we had her backpacks and we're walking to high school, so she knew, but
You got your pipe.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I had to say that one just because it was.
Well, that's good, yeah, because that's one of many stories, and it's just, oh man.
And that's more the funny side of it. And like I said, there'll be serious ones, cool ones, they'll whatever. I mean, whatever you think.
And we'll go more in depth. Everyone, we'll paint the picture for you, but I guess we're gonna say that one. That was a good one.
Well, now that I snuck that one on you, do you have like one that comes to your head, like a go-to one? Just like it doesn't have to be funny, or I mean, it could be whatever you think. Or I don't want to put you on the spot, but
a go-to story. So no, I don't really have one.
That's all right. Well, they'll be.
I'll do it. Yeah, I got one because it will kind of go into the reconnection when we got with Pat.
Okay.
So, obviously, when you go to high school, all your friends from middle school, if you live in a big city, you may or may not go to high school with them. So when we got into high school, we kind of lost connection with the close friend Pat because he was in Visalia and we went to Exeter. And
we knew him since what? Since
third grade.
Summer of third grade, going
Yeah.
into third grade. That's when our teacher aide, Miss Montgomery, her grandson Mikey and Pat, but Mikey went there from I think first grade, so we knew him, and then they introduced him third grade. But go ahead.
So we were really close, and we lost connection through high school because we obviously went to different high schools. We lived in different cities, and then we were at it was in the north side of Visalia. They call it Birdland. I don't know why, and. So we were there. I think Tony had driven us, and this was mid 2000s, like 2005, 2006 maybe, and this is when that Chris Brown came out. Everyone wanted to dance. They were dancing, so we were at a house party, and it was a empty house. There was no furniture or nothing. There was just people standing around, and there was some people dancing. And they were breakdancing and doing whatever, and it looked pretty cool.
Their best impersonation of Chris Brown.
Yes, so I was drinking, so I thought it'd be funny. All I did was I had 2 Coronas in my hand, and I walked in the middle of the dance floor and started doing the robot while drinking my beers. And then for some reason, everyone started screaming like it was the best thing they'd seen all night. And at that point in time, I turned to the side, and it was, lo and behold, Pat was there. I was like, what the fuck? So then that was a whole nother event after that. We started hugging. Hey, what's up? We haven't seen each other for probably, 3 years?
It's like those TV series or those movies where it's
The
about
slow
to end,
motion.
yeah, it's ending, but then you see somebody, and then that turns into a whole nother series.
Yes, to be continued.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then that's when we reunited with Pat again, and that created a whole nother party scene that we'll talk about later on. But yeah, that was a good story.
So we touched on the Dogtown, we touched on us a little bit, and to go back, I think one of the main goals that we want to accomplish with this is let everybody have a good time with it, laugh at us, and laugh with us too.
Yeah.
But just to go back to how you said, because I'll have stories like with my friends when I first started law enforcement. I have a tight group of friends that I still talk to this day, that we'll have stories with them. And then you, when you're in the military, I mean, you told me plenty of stories with your group of friends, and so it's gonna be fun. And I think there'll be a time you may even get mentioned. You who's listening may even get mentioned, or hopefully we'll get to the point where we could even have you here and get.
Yeah, definitely want to have people. Well, one of the ideas is if we're touching on a few stories and that individual's going to be mentioned in that story, maybe we want him here because me and my brothers obviously can't remember every little detail, so maybe that person could add their their memory on it as well.
Yeah, and like I said, the main goal is for everybody to have fun. You know, everybody have a good time, and just keep it going. And the biggest thing out of this is, especially with my schedule right now, I really don't have time for much. My family, and then my working out, and so right now, at bare minimum, this is just time to hang out with my brother and just, you know, shoot the shit. So this is something that we wanted to do, that say, hey, this is something cool that I think we should do. And, you know, if something comes out of it, cool. If it doesn't, whatever, you know, we could say we did it and we tried. And, you know.
By no means were we doing this to get famous or make money or anything like that. We're just doing this just to hang out and have a good time and share our stories with everyone else.
And those of you also, too, I think to mention is, once we're still getting in the groove of things, we're still getting comfortable. So you will hear a lot of references to certain TV shows. So if you don't get references from The Office or Seinfeld or other
Godfather,
other movies like that, go watch them or just go choke yourself. Do one of those. But anyways, do you have anything else you want to touch on? I think we touched on a little bit of everything. And I think that's a good intro. We talked about a lot of stuff. We gave a little sneak peek of what it's going to be about. And also, too, those of you who aren't, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go like, follow, share. And then we're gonna put this one up on YouTube. And we have it recorded, so I'm going to try to get it up on the podcast app as well. So I think it will be on all the different...
once we get the details on that, we'll send it out on the pages, and then everyone could link it to there.
But for sure, we'll be on YouTube. But we're gonna try to get on the on all the podcasts like Spotify, Apple, whatever you guys use. So
Hanish, I know you're watching and listening. I know you're gonna have some criticism. Message me, let me know, and we'll fix it.
Yeah. So anything else? I think that's a good spot to leave it off.
Yeah.
And
we should have like music right now.
Yeah. Well, that's Pat's gonna work on that.
Pat, get our music going.
Yeah, I heard, talked to Levi. He said you're working on it, so
I think he's honeymooning right now. He's in love.
Yeah, let's get a rush on that. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all the support, all the comments. If you guys have something you want to tell us about, hey, maybe you should try this or that, let us know. We take criticism well. Just, send us a message, send us a comment, however you feel comfortable leaving it. But thank you again, everybody, for the support, and we'll get it posted on YouTube. See you guys.
See you later.